If I wanted to start a kingdom, I do this. What's the secret to build a thriving fantasy kingdom from the ground up? Today, we're diving into the essentials: water, food, and livestock. Because without this, even the mightiest dream will crumble into dust. So let's take it step by step, shall we? But first, we need to gather some materials. Spruce wood, to be more specific. It's one of the best woods in the game, and I really want to start this project with some in hand. Luckily for us, there's some not too far from home, with a trail leading to it. It might even be worth exploring later, once we have upgraded our gear. For now at least, we have discovered some promising locations to explore and expand our kingdom in the future. There's a massive forest, perfect for establishing a woodcutting district. A beach, with access to a vast body of water, ideal for constructing a grand port to support large-scale trade and commerce. And there's a trail. I know trails have been around Minecraft for a while, but believe it or not, never actually ventured into one. Alright, with the resources gathered, it's time to get started. First up, water. We need water to quench the thirsty mouths of our growing village. And for those other small things like, growing crops, cooking, and washing the medieval stain out of our clothes. It's safe to say that water is a non-negotiable. So we are building this beautiful water wheel right at the center of our settlement. It's not just a decoration, it's the lifeblood of Avalon. That's why I try to keep it 3 by 3, so we can use it as an infinite water source for later. With the wheel completed, we can officially check access to water off our list. Next on the list, food. Because, let's face it, if the people of Avalon are starving, they are not going to care about castles or markets. Crops are the answer. But before that, let me put the grindstone on the top of the water wheel. I completely forgot where I was ending the time-lapse. But with that done, I think that we can call it a day, at least with the water wheel. Okay, so let's face the new location. I think this is the correct location to put our first farmland. Right in the hillside next to the river, this location will help us a lot. We are starting by restoring the old farmland near these ruins. To make it even better, we are reshaping the nearby river. Why? Because one day, this river will be a transportation hub, a lifeline for trade and commerce. These first crops will sustain us in the early stages of reconstruction. But as the community grows, we'll need larger fields to meet the demand. In my vision for this farmland, I wanted it to feel as though it grew organically along the river, blessed by the vitality of being near a water source. This area will be adorned with trees and abundant wild foliage, creating a serene natural retreat. It serves as a calming connection between the heart of the kingdom and the great outdoors, brought together beautifully by this amazing bridge. Right now, I think that we did a really great job. These crops will help us a lot to tackle the next adventures from this survival and will help us to grow our community, being able to trade with some farm villagers, and I think it's a great addition to this side of the story. But right now I think that this is just the start. I think that maybe on the hillside we can construct, like a little mining community, so we can put our hands on some ores. And as you know, crops don't take care of themselves, do they? Let's build a farmer house, a place for someone dedicated to tending these fields. For this house, I'm sticking to the color palette of the abandoned ruins: mossy cobblestone, stone bricks, and a mix of oak and spruce wood for the pillars and roof. A few details like crops in the front yard make it clear that whoever lives here is a proud farmer. And with that, the farmer's house is done. Who knows? Maybe someday we'll be trading fresh bread with neighboring kingdoms. Pretty fancy, right? Crops done. Now, let's talk about animals. Sure, crops are great, but have you ever heard of a medieval vegan? Livestock was one of the main sources of food back then. And as you know, way back in the ancient times, people figured out it was easier to breed and raise animals than to chase them around with spears. Cows, sheep, pigs, and chickens became the ultimate multi-tools. They provided food, clothing, and even helped with farming. Animals didn't just feed civilizations, they powered them. For this animal pen, I'm aiming for a cozy minimal design. All the animals will share a cute little space where they can roam around and hang out. With this, the animal pen is done. And there you have it, the foundations of Avalon's revered. A wheel to quench our thirst, farms to fill our bellies, and animals to keep us warm and fit during the harshest winters. These builds aren't just structures, they are solutions. Solutions to survival, growth, and one day prosperity for our kingdom. But here is the best part. We are just getting started. With this essential in place, Avalon is ready to dream bigger. Markets, workshops, defenses, you name it. Today, we tackle the first challenges every civilization faces at the beginning. I'm really happy with how this animal pen turned out. Initially, I was aiming for the simplest and most boring design, but thankfully, I relieved myself and I ended up creating something far more creative than just some box fences. The water wheel will serve us well in the future. That's why I built it as an infinite 3x3 water source, ensuring we'll never run dry. To start tying everything together from this episode, I began some terraforming to create cozy paths. This will make it easier to navigate between these various locations in the kingdom, adding both functionality and charm to our growing community. And of course, the crops. These will be invaluable as we progress, helping us set up automatic farms and gather some resources needed to expand our animal pen until it becomes a sustainable source of food. As I mentioned it earlier, I'm planning to building a mining community in the next episodes, and this hillside seems like the perfect spot. My vision is to create a multi-level community, a place with multiple floors and layers that will eventually bring a new district to life. This district will surround the main island of our kingdom, adding depth and character to Avalon's growing landscape. That's it for today. Avalon is starting to take shape, but there's so much more to do. Hit subscribe and let me know in the comments what we should build next. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.